Let's call the meeting to order and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilor Jones, Councilor Geisler. Here. Councilor Jelly.
Here.
Councilor LeBlanc.
Here.
Mayor Boucher.
Here. Announcements. Do any council members have announcements they'd like to make?
Good luck to the baseball team this week.
Yeah.
Section finals.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank Councilor Geisler for stepping in for me in the last meeting and doing a pretty good job. I watched from Bullhead City, Arizona, and I'll give you some comments later. We have no public hearings, no communications to highlight. Mr. Mulder, could you give a short synopsis of the presentations we received at pre-agenda meeting?
So we actually had three of them. One of them was from Todd Hagan of Ellers on the bond sale earlier today. Adam Schmidtke and somebody from Braun talked about the roof repairs that we need to do because of the ice dams and some of the insulation. They will prepare some plans and specifications for your approval at the next meeting. And then Eric Johnson went through kind of the connector trail from the wellness center to the city offices to Stebner Park, and then down to King Creek, and then across over to Proctor. Just kind of giving a general alignment as we proceed with that trail project.
Thank you. This is the time for general public discussion. If anyone wishes to address the council, either in chambers or online, please start with your name and address. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council under public discussion at this time? Last opportunity for general public discussion. If anyone wishes to address the council, please identify yourself with name and address. Hearing none, we will move on to motions. A motion to approve the temporary service area expansion application for Odd Shriners for June 24th, 2023, with proposed hours of sale from 2 p.m. till 10 p.m., contingent on all paperwork being received. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilor Jelly. Do we have a second? Second by Councilor Geisler. Mr. Mulder.
So this is just the Odd Shrine wants to have an event there and they're going to sell alcohol in the parking lot. So they needed to expand a temporary surface area.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Any public input on this motion? Any public input on the motion to approve or deny a temporary service area? Any public input on the motion for the temporary service area for the Odd Shrine Temple for June 24th? Roll call, please.
Councilor Geisler. Aye. Councilor Jelly.
Aye.
Councilor LeBlanc.
Aye.
Councilor Jones. Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Next, we have the consent agenda, which are the minutes, approval or correction of the May 15th, 2023 minutes, accounts payable, and more accounts payable. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilor LeBlanc, a second.
Second.
A second by Councilor Jelly. Roll call, please.
Councilor Jelly.
Aye.
Councilor LeBlanc.
Aye.
Councilor Jones. Councilor Geisler. Aye. Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Ordinances, we have two first readings. The first is 2023-04, an ordinance amending and restating chapter 14 signs and ground signs of the Hermantown City Code, first reading, and ordinance 2003-05, an ordinance amending Chapter 9 Utilities and Services of the Hermantown City Code by modifying the rules governing the collection on delinquent utility accounts, also a first reading. Next, we'll move on to the resolutions. Resolution 2023-66, resolution approving special use permit for construction of an accessory structure in excess of 12,000 square feet, 1,200 square feet in an R3 zoning district at 3990 Uggstead Road and imposing conditions thereon. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor Geisler. Is there a second? Second by Counselor Jones. Mr. Mulder.
Let Eric Johnson speak to this. If you would.
Eric?
Great, thank you very much. This is a property at 3990 Uggstead Road. It's a 4.2 acre lot. The applicant has an existing 840 square foot garage already located on this property, and he's looking to build a 672 addition to that, bringing that total to 1,512 square feet, which is greater than the 1,200 under the standard building permits with the R3 zoning. This proposed addition and the garage as well meets or exceed all the city requirements as far as accessory structure setbacks from property lines. And as part of this, there's no business activity or residential living proposed or permitted as part of this approval.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from council? Is there any public input on this resolution? If anyone, either online or in chambers, wishes to comment, please start with your name and address. Is there any public input on resolution 2023-66? Roll call, please.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Counselor Jones, Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2023-67, resolution approving a special use permit for grading and filling within a natural shoreland overlay area. Do we have a motion? Motion by Counselor Jones. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jelly. Mr. Mulder, is this another one for Mr. Johnson?
It is.
Eric?
Great, thank you again. As you mentioned, this is a special use permit for the property at 428X Birch Valley Road. This is an existing lot of record. It's 3.69 acres, and it's at the southeast quadrant of the intersection of Birch Valley Road and Arrowhead Road. The applicant's looking to construct a single-family home and driveway on this property. There is a natural shoreland area associated with the Rocky Run Creek, which is on the extreme east side of this property. That shoreland area encompasses about 2/3 of this subject property. The proposed house location is greater than 150 feet away from that creek. So it meets or exceeds all those setbacks associated with it. And we're anticipating about 1,200 square feet total of disturbance within the shoreland area, once again, for the placement of this home as well as the driveway. And any basically, the SUP stipulates that we try to minimize any exposed soil for the least amount of time possible, just for water quality associated with that body of water on the east side of the property.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council? Is there any public input on this resolution? If so, please state your name and address. Does anyone wish to comment on this resolution, either in person or online? Is there any public comment on 2023-067, a resolution approving a special use permit? Roll call, please.
Counselor Jones,
Aye.
Counselor Geisler, Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2023-68, resolution authorizing and directing mayor and city clerk to execute and deliver an agreement for consulting services for right-of-way services with the SRF Consulting Group Incorporated. Do we have a motion? Motion by Counselor Geisler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor LeBlanc. Mr. Mulder.
So this is an agreement with SRF to do the negotiations for the city for various easements that most likely we're going to need for the trail. We may have a few that might be a road project, but primarily this is for the trail. They will do the appraisals, and then they will also do all of the negotiations. City Council will see those initial proposals before we start the process, and then you'll actually finally approve any easements that we do acquire through this process.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council? Hearing none, is there any public input on this resolution? Any public input on resolution 2023-68? Is there any public input on the resolution to agree to consulting services with SRF Consulting Group? Roll call, please.
Councilor Geisler, Councilor Jelly,
Aye.
Councilor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Councilor Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2023-69, resolution providing for the issuance, sale, and delivery of $1,505,000 of general obligation improvement bonds, Series 2023A, and awarding the sale thereof. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor Jelly. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jones. Mr. Mulder?
So this is part of the process that we have gone through up to this point where we had this bids for the bonds today. And Ellers and Associates recommended this sale. Kevin, you're here. Maybe I should have deferred to you on this.
Go ahead, Kevin.
The council, so this is part of the city's financial management plan, and a subset of that is the road management plan. City has various ways of paying for roads. Some roads we have municipal state aid, such as Ugstead, so we get funding source for that. Other sources of funding could be assessments, the levy, of which that's what this is. Water fund, sewer fund, stormwater fund, and grants. So this is for the improvements on Richard Lindgren, Sam's Way, and Evie Drive there happening this summer. It's about a $2.6 million project. The bond is for less than that. That is the portion that will be paid by the taxpayers over the next 15 years. Again, we're using grants, stormwater, water, sewer, and assessments to also fund this project. There were 4 bids today, as Todd mentioned this morning or an hour ago. TD Securities out of New York was a low bidder, 3.55% true interest cost. As part of this process, Standard & Poor's reaffirmed our AA rating, so that's what these bonds are rated at. If approved, then the next step is we would get the money on June 22nd and use that to pay the contractor.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Any public input on this resolution? Is there any public input on resolution 2023-69? If anyone wishes to comment on this resolution, please state your name and address. Roll call, please.
Councilor Jelly,
Aye.
Councilor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Councilor Jones,
Aye.
Councilor Geisler,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2023-70, resolution authorizing and directing mayor and city clerk to execute an acceptance of easement agreement to the city of Hermantown from Robin E. and Douglas R. Johnson for the Okerstrom Road sewer and road improvement. Do we have a motion? Motion by Counselor Geisler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jelly. Mr. Mulder.
So as you know, we've been talking about making improvements along Okerstrom Road, north of Anderson Road. So this is We have 6 easements that we need. This is one of the first ones that we had the party sign, so we're asking the city council to accept that.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council?
Mr. Mayor, I should have just clarified during our earlier discussion, is that work is scheduled to take place this year yet, right?
Yeah, we're scheduled to award the contract on June 20th. And then work could begin after that, assuming but we'll only award it if we've got all the rest of the easements.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from council?
If we don't get the easements by June 20th, does that push the project back?
It might, because I don't want to award the contract if we don't have those final easements in place. That gets to be a little problematic.
So what options are there for the city if we can't get one of the easements or something along those lines?
Potentially the project gets put off and then we'll have to go through a process using the courts to get the necessary easements if that's what it takes.
Yeah.
If that's what it takes, this project will be a 2024 project. Which then potentially affects the extension of Peyton Acres because of the sewer lift station there.
And the cost of the project.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Is there any public input on this resolution? Any public input on resolution 2023-70? Is there any public input on the resolution for the easement agreement? Roll call, please.
Councilor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Councilor Jones,
Aye.
Councilor Geisler,
Aye.
Councilor Jelly,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2023-71, resolution approving final plans and specifications and ordering advertisement for bids for roof installation on the government services building. It has been recommended by staff that we table this resolution so that the specifications can be fine-tuned. Is there a motion?
I'll move to table it.
Motion to table by Councilor LeBlanc. Is there a second?
Second.
We'll second by Councilor Jones. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Resolution 2023-72, a resolution authorizing and directing mayor and city clerk to execute an acceptance of easement agreement to the city of Hermantown from Paul M. Sandquist for the Oakestrom Road sewer and improvement. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilor LeBlanc. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Jelly. Mr. Mueller, this is an explanation we've already been given. Do you have
Sure, this
anything?
is an additional easement for that Orchestra Road project.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Or any public input on this resolution? Is there any public input on resolution 2023-72? Is there any public input on the resolution in front of the council? Roll call, please.
Councilor Geisler,
Aye.
Councilor Jelly,
Aye.
Councilor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Councilor Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2023-73. Resolution authorizing and directing mayor and city clerk to execute an acceptance of easement agreement to the city of Hermantown from David A. and Elizabeth F. Paulson for the Oakestrom Road sewer and road improvement. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Jelly, second by Councilor Geisler. We've had this explanation a couple of times. Is there any questions from council? Is there any public input on this resolution? Any public input on the resolution in front of the council? Last opportunity for public input on resolution 2023-73. Roll call, please.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Counselor Jones,
Aye.
Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2023-74, resolution authorizing and directing mayor and city clerk to execute an acceptance of easement agreement to the city of Hermantown for McNutt Real Estate Holdings II LLC for the Hermantown Marketplace Road Improvement Project. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor LeBlanc. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jelly. Mr. Mulder.
This is a little bit different than the previous one. This is for the road project in the Hermantown Marketplace. This is the last easement we needed. We've already awarded that contract, maybe a little bit nervous. But we have this final easement, and this was a temporary easement for the ability to construct Lindgren and make it a paved road. And then also to just a small area where a culvert's going to be sticking out onto that person's property.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from council? Is there any public input on this resolution? If anyone wishes to comment on resolution 2023-74, please state your name and address. Is there any public comment on the resolution for an acceptance of an easement agreement with McNutt Real Estate Holdings II? Roll call, please.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Counselor Jones,
Aye.
Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. And before we go to a motion for a closed session, I'll add something that I forgot earlier in our meeting, and that's to thank our local legislators, Senator Housechild and House of Representatives members of Lesnicar for their hard work in the benefit of Hermantown during the previous legislative session. We've got a record amount of successes coming out of the legislature this year, and it's greatly appreciated by the council and the citizens of the community. Next is a closed session, a motion to close the meeting of the Hermantown City Council pursuant to Minnesota statutes and section 13D.3 to consider confidential information regarding labor negotiation strategy. Following this closed session, the Hermantown City Council will reconvene in an open session. Do we have a motion to go into closed session?
Motion for closed session.
Motion by Counselor Geisler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jones. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.